What the fuck has just happened there down at the Gtech Community Stadium in London? I've got to say, I am absolutely annoyed with the way this game has went and played out, and the way this season's playing out so far in the Premier League away from home. We are absolutely disgusting. We don't even look anything remotely like Newcastle United under Eddie Howe. All these owners, it is absolutely beyond a joke. Something needs to change. Something needs to change now. The officials, of course, today, again, not the greatest. Of course, with some very questionable decisions. But putting the officials to the side, looking at our performance today, it just wasn't there. It wasn't enough. It wasn't what we are used to seeing under Eddie Howe and these owners. And something needs to change. We need to be getting that bite back into a game. We've seen it, you know, in interviews, what Dan Burn did, saying that we are just not there. We're not doing that bite. We don't have that fire to a game that we once had. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know why we don't have that. You know, yeah, we can't obviously go high intensity all the time because it is going to tire us out. It is going to mean that, you know, we are going to see a lot of injuries like we've seen in the previous seasons. But at least have it a little bit into the game. You know, we needed that little bit. We could see it today. You know, we just didn't have that bite. We didn't have that fight to the game. And I feel, you know, today was very, very lackluster. It was a very bad performance by the referees as well. The officials in the game weren't great neither, making some very questionable decisions. Some of the decisions that they made today, you know, didn't help matters. The penalty 2 times, there was shout for a penalty for Brentford. The first one, you know, was never a penalty, and rightfully so, it was wiped off. But Dan Burn ended up getting a yellow card for some reason, even though he had never touched Quattara. And Quattara should have been off well before that even happened in the game, because in my eyes, what I've seen and what everybody else I'm sure seen as well at home, and possibly if you've seen it in the stadium as well, if they showed it on the screens, you will have seen, you know, Joe Linton's shin with massive stud marks in it, where Quattara had literally wrapped his stud around Joe Linton's shin, and nothing was done about it. There was no yellow card, which you would expect at least a yellow card, but there was no yellow card. There was no review of it on VAR by Paul Tinney, and that is just completely unacceptable, especially when you look at the damage that has been done there. The fact that you had to get treatment on it as well. You could see, you know, Joe Linton was visibly angry. You know, that nothing was done about that, because it really, something should have been done. At least a yellow card at the bare minimum should have been given to Quattara. But looking at the way the studs went in, the way the foot was high as well, it was definitely a red card. We've seen them given before in the Premier League, but the inconsistency of the referees and the PGMOL is just absolutely beyond a joke. But like I say, apart from that, the decisions that were made was just absolutely beyond a joke. And of course, Brentford ended up getting its second shout for a penalty, which ended up seeing Dan Burn being sent off on the 73rd minute of the game. And of course, it was Quattara that went down. Now, for me, it's just absolutely pathetic. It really is. You know, at the end of the day, we didn't play great today, but them decisions from the officials don't help matters. You know, and we definitely need to be seeing, you know, the lads getting a little bit more bite into the game, a little bit more of that shithousery that we've seen in previous seasons. We've seen Dan Burn talking about it, like I say, you know, in interviews. But I am really angry with the way things are going on at the moment at Newcastle. In the league, we are absolutely dreadful. In the Champions League, we're doing great. In the Cups, we're doing great. But in the league, we are absolutely dreadful. We are 14th in the league as of making this video tonight. And of course, we've now gone in national break. 2 weeks. We've got to wait now to play our next game. And, you know, the next game is up against Manchester City, who are literally firing on all cylinders right now. They're third in the league. You know, Erling Haaland's banging in goals for fun. So that is not something that you want to be going into off of a performance like we've seen today down at the Gtech Community Stadium. And I mean, Murphy, I love Murphy, don't get us wrong. You know, the lad was absolutely fantastic last season, but today in that game, other than his ball in, which got the goal, of course, for Barnes, off an assist from Voldemara, which, again, didn't get given the assist for Voldemara. They just classed it as straight up Harvey Barnes' goal. But other than that ball played in by Murphy to Voldemara, which then assisted to, of course, Barnes for the goal. Brilliant goal, by the way, by Barnes to work it the way he did. You know, completely fooled both Brentford players to score an absolute screamer of a goal. And unfortunately, it is a wasted goal now because it is a defeat. But I mean, it was just really, really annoying watching that kind of, you know, display today. Other than the goal, you know, there wasn't really much there for we to be happy about and cheer about, to be honest. We definitely need to be seeing a bit more bite from we going forward. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. The goals, of course, for Brentford was, of course, Kevin Schade on the 56th minute, and Thiago, who got, of course, one on the 78th minute for the penalty, and then the 90 plus 5th minute, of course, for the last goal of the game. And Aaron Ramsdale had to come on because Nicky Pope ended up, you know, being fouled inside the box. Really dangerous foul as well, by the way. I think it was Kevin Schade that did it. Put his back towards Nicky Pope. Nicky Pope went over the top of him, ended up landing straight on his shoulder. And we know what, you know, Nicky's shoulders are like after the two shoulder injuries that he's had. So hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, he is okay and he is fine. And he comes, of course, straight back from, of course, anything that has seen him go off as a substitute. And also, hopefully, Joe Linton as well, because that didn't look very good, the cut on his shin, I've got to say that, to be honest. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who was your man of the match in the game? And who, of course, do you think, you know, played the best out of the Newcastle players today? Until next time, I'll see you all in the next one, and how well, lads.